Speaker number 4, huh? I guess we know where this is going.
Well, for sure.
For speaker number 2. Toastmaster Sean Tucker has a story to share. Sean asks that you remember Winter Park Toastmasters is a safe space. And you shouldn't judge him too much. Please welcome Toastmaster Sean Tucker and his speech, The Field Trip.
So when I was about 40, I went back to school. Seminole State for my AA, UCF for my bachelor's, and every semester the same scenario would unfold. For the first several weeks, I would be iced out by the appropriately aged students. I was like an old, bald Rudolph. It took weeks for them to start to like me a little bit and gain my trust. And eventually, they would accept me, if not as a peer, at least as kind of a weird uncle figure. Fellow Toastmasters, guests, please come with me on a field trip several years ago and not too many miles away. My major was public administration. I minored in emergency management and homeland security and urban and regional planning. So all of my classes were full of future government workers. They were all eagerly pursuing their ambitions to be very tiny cogs in the giant unforgiving wheels of government. God bless their misguided souls. All career paths have certain personality traits that are attributed to them. They're attracted to them. Business majors are ambitious, ruthless, morally flexible. Engineers are rigid, focused, unyielding. Lawyers are Satan's legal minions. Putting the devil in the details since Adam sued Eve. The personality trait that is attributed to public administration majors is a lack of a sense of humor. And don't go there. It wasn't that they didn't find me funny. It's that they really didn't find anything funny. Many times I wanted to tell them, just relax. The DMV has had your resume on file since birth. You're going to get there. You were born for this work. This personality trait, this deficiency, made any interactions with their weird uncle figure challenging. They just didn't get me. Now, to be fair to them, I have several close family members and distant friends who don't get me either. So it's not entirely their fault. But it did make the incident on the field trip that much worse. The Orlando Wetlands Park is a 1,650-acre man-made wetland in beautiful Christmas, Florida. It takes the reclaimed water from the city of Orlando and naturally filters it through the land before it returns to the St. Johns River. One of my classes took a field trip there. It was a beautiful, gorgeous October day. A little cooler than what we're experiencing now. Absolutely beautiful out. And about 15 shiny young bureaucrats, one clinically academic professor, and their weird uncle figure climbed into the back of a truck for a hayride and educational tour. And the tour was fantastic. The tour guide would stop along the way and point out things that were interesting, like if you look over there, you'll see a family of white-tailed deer hiding from the residents of Christmas or Bithlo. If you look over here, these tracks are from a creep of gopher tortoises. Yes, that's the correct word. A group of turtles is a bale. A group of tortoises is a creep. This is a field trip, and I'm here to educate. So at one point in the field trip, the field guide points off in the distance about 200 yards. And the sun is setting. It's almost hitting the horizon over to the left. So you can't really focus in on what he's pointing at. He says, you see that clump of trees over there? And everyone looks, and as it starts to come into focus, you realize that it's a huge dead clump of trees, and it's moving. And then you realize it's moving because it's covered in buzzards. Hundreds and hundreds of buzzards. More buzzards than you've ever seen. It was covered in a wake of buzzards. Yes, that's the correct word. A group of crows is a murder, a group of buzzards is a wake. And about this point, everyone is completely silent, completely still, a little afraid. And the field guide says, that's actually the largest wake of buzzards on the east coast of America. It was at this point that Weird Uncle Fester couldn't help himself. And with entirely too much enthusiasm, I looked up and said, wow, what a great place to hide a body.
Yes, it is.
To say it was uncomfortable is unfair to the word uncomfortable. Uncomfortable is a seat on a coach plane. Uncomfortable is when you call your barista by the wrong pronoun. No, this was entirely something different. You could feel people being pulled away from me as if propelled by fear and repulsion. What do you do at a point like this? Do you run? Do you hide? Do you apologize? No, you lean into it. So I look at all of them and their scared and misty eyes and say, come on, I'm not the only one to think of it. And that was a bad miscalculation, because then they started to turn on each other. They looked at each other with fear and doubt. To say the rest of the trip was uncomfortable is fair. At that point, I had lost all of the bonding I had developed to that point. It had been redacted. So please, fellow Toastmasters, don't judge me too badly, because I know I'm not the only one to think of it.